Welcome to This Endorian Life, a nostalgic Star Wars podcast from the Radio Meanwhile Network. My name is Steve Rudd.
I'm Nick Gunning, and this time we're taking apart the world of Star Wars Lego brick by brick.
Yes, today we are going back to the beginning to cover the very first Lego Star Wars shorts, Revenge of the Brick, Quest for R2-D2, and Bombad Bounty.
And what a batch it was.
Oh yes, what a mix.
I've got feelings about Revenge of the Brick, but we'll get to it. These were written by Daniel Lipkowitz. The first one, Revenge of the Brick, was directed by Royce Graham, and Peter Peterson directed the others. Onto their releases, Revenge of the Brick first aired on May 8th, 2005, and was included as a bonus feature on the DVD release of Clone Wars Volume 2. And I don't know if you noticed in the credits, but Mark Hamill is credited as a segment director.
Yeah,
I don't know what that means. And when I was looking into it, it said that there was some behind the scenes video that he did.
Oh, okay.
Who knows? I guess he had some part of it.
And somewhere in there, yeah.
Yeah. Next, we have Quest for R2-D2, which first aired on August 27th, 2009. This was released in conjunction with an Indiana Jones one called Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Brick, which is sort of an amalgam of, I guess, Raiders, Last Crusade, and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but not Temple of Doom.
But not Temple of Doom. Weird. Yeah, I know.
It was weird. Right? I mean, just throw a short round in there and then you got it covered. But
yeah, they should have.
No. So that one is kind of fun because there is a little like Star Wars sight gag in there as well, and then it kind of comes back into play in a later one here.
Yeah.
Also, supposedly there was an online playable game, Quest for R2-D2. I found game footage, but I was hoping that somebody had. I mean, I'm sure it exists somewhere, but I couldn't find it. And then finally, we have Bombad Bounty, which was released September 17th, 2010. Both Bombad Bounty and Quest for R2-D2 were included on the DVD and Blu-ray release for The Padawan Menace.
Oh.
I just found these on the YouTube pages. Is that...
Me too, yeah.
Yeah.
I just put them right into YouTube and they came right up. Actually, I went to Disney Plus first and I was like, oh.
They're not there at all? I wondered.
They're not there at all.
Well, these kind of kick things off, and then the Star Wars Lego shorts, like we covered the Halloween ones, but there are 36 total that kind of spun off of this style and everything. So there's quite a lot on the Lego Star Wars channel or the Star Wars Kids channel. You can find quite a few of them there. Our featured cast member this time is actually the director, Peter Peterson. He worked on several Lego properties, including that Indiana Jones, but worked most extensively in music videos. Notably, he directed several videos for the band Aqua, including their smash hit, Barbie Girl.
Get out of here.
He directed the music video.
Wow.
There you go. I don't know any other song by Aqua except for Barbie Girl, and I think that's a pretty common experience.
Yeah.
But Barbie Girl, I mean, what was that? I mean, I feel like I was in high school. That's got to be like late 90s, 99 even.
I think 99? I think like 97.
Oh, was it? Okay.
I'm thinking like 97. I think it must have been.
You're exactly right. Released 1997. Look at you. So you can watch Peter Peterson's work on the old music video.
Oh my gosh.
Quite a change in style, especially from Revenge of the Brick to the Quest for R2-D2. But
how do you land that job, man?
Some real nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. These are the terrifying tales that we should have been covering.
Yeah, for real.
Definitely upsetting. All right, hit me.
All right, uber detailed plot of Revenge of the Brick. An epic space battle begins between a separatist droid control ship and Anakin and Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's ship becomes damaged, but he uses the blasted parts of surrounded droid ships to repair his own, improving on its design. Anakin is plagued by a buzz droid. His ship is critically hit, breaking it apart, but he acts quickly to rebuild it mid-space. He accidentally rebuilds it into an antique biplane, which is useless in space, and pivots to a speeder bike, which he used to infiltrate the droid control ship. The two of them manage to destroy it, and Anakin blasts out of the giant ship, much like he did as a kid in a Naboo starfighter. The two return to Kashyyyk with their makeshift ships. On Kashyyyk, Master Yoda is ambushed by several droid separatists, or separatist droids, I should say. He begins to break them all apart and is relieved when Mace Windu arrives with clone and Wookiee reinforcements. Anakin and Obi-Wan arrive and continue to fight. When the Jedi are surrounded and all seems lost, the Wookiees destroy key separatist elements with a glider, causing the droids to flee into the woods. They all celebrate at the local cantina. Chewie snaps a photo that develops into an eerie photo of the future.
Ooh. All right, so we just have to address the animation for this one, and they're horrible. Like, I understand what they were trying to do. They were trying to have the Lego faces have depth and expression, but it really it was less convincing than Thumb Wars. It really was. It was
it's so bad. I think you're right. I see what they were trying to do. Like, I don't know if the regular round smooth head with the face is going to work, but like, it's what you know, right? I mean, you look at a Lego and that's what it is. And so this, I was like, immediately I was like, whoa, this is something is way off. And I realized it was like their faces just looked like they were melted and swollen and like
they all look like they got a real bad bee sting.
Yes.
They just because they have like real heavy brows and like their cheeks and their faces, but they do still look like unmistakably like a Lego head. So I mean, I don't know. I couldn't look away. I didn't hate it or anything. I thought some of the flying sequences, like when Obi-Wan is about to get hit and he disassembles the whole thing and reassembles it and keeps going, was kind of cool.
That was very cool. Yeah.
So I thought there was fun use of some Legos in this one. And when you think about the fact that Star Wars Lego as a thing had only been around for 5 years when this came out. The first Star Wars Legos was 99?
Yeah.
Shortly after the song Barbie Girl by Aqua was released, Star Wars Lego came along. So, there were 5-6 years in here at this point. So, whatever. I'll give it a pass. It's interesting that they made this and then did nothing else, because the next one is 4 years later. So
which is strange because it's like, it's funny because we just did the Rebuild the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And it was so many elements of that in this,
True.
And it's just like, that didn't work. It's crazy that much time in between just blows my mind. And you could tell certainly by the quality of the animation. It's that early animation where everything was very pale colored. There was no vibrant colors yet.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. Great story. I thought it was fun.
Yeah. But it did, it reminded me of the early Lego games that were non-speaking. It was just the mumbles and stuff. And, so that was kind of a fun throwback. But they get better. They get better than that one.
They do get better.
Yeah. Well, let's go on.
All right. Lego Star Wars The Quest for R2-D2. Tension is building across the galaxy. Anakin Skywalker and R2-D2 have infiltrated a separatist base with a very important secret stored inside the droid. They barely escape, but they are pursued, and R2 is lost somewhere in deep space. Undaunted, the separatist leaders swear to recover the secret. Back on Coruscant, Obi-Wan orders Anakin and Ahsoka to find R2 and his very important content. Chancellor Palpatine sends an elite squad of troopers to do the same, and so begins the quest for R2-D2. R2-D2 lands on Tatooine and sets up in an oasis. Ahsoka and Anakin narrowly escape the asteroid Slug on their way to find him. Jawas find R2 sunning himself in a hammock. Meanwhile, on Hoth, Commander Cody and Rex single-handedly take out an entire droid ground platoon with one tiny Lego piece. They construct a new ship using all of the wreckage. Back on Tatooine, General Grievous finds a band of Ewoks shopping for droids at a sandcrawler. He sees R2 and purchases him from the Jawas, then returns to his bad guy base. From there, R2 is able to alert Ahsoka and Anakin as to where he is. Anakin and Ahsoka infiltrate Grievous's droid control ship with the help of Cody and Rex. They release R2 and a standoff begins between Palpatine, Ventress, and Grievous versus Anakin and Ahsoka, Rex, and Cody. Yoda and Obi-Wan arrive as well, and before the fight begins, Yoda removes the floor, ejecting the bad guys from the ship, while also using the broken pieces to construct a blockade runner, which they use to blast away from the droid control ship before it explodes. Safe and sound, R2 displays the secrets he's been keeping. VIP tickets to Skywalker World, an amusement park similar to Disney World.
Yay.
And then that's it.
I was delighted to see the Ewoks. And I was thinking, like, even though this is a goofy, silly thing, I don't know that we've ever seen prequel characters interact with Ewoks. Even in, like, the Lego stuff, I don't remember that ever happening. So I thought that was kind of a fun little piece.
Yeah, you might be right. This one was funny to me. I don't know. It seemed weird that like Rex and Cody were in it. And I guess this is probably the same time. What is this one? 2005
This
or
was
2007?
2009.
9. So it would have been out by then. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it would have been big. So the introduction to bringing them into the Lego was probably a good idea. Their scene was really weird though. I thought it was really funny how like I guess that kind of hangs on the silliness of the
Mm.
Lego series. How like
Yeah.
they pretty much like hockey pucked that little red gem
Right.
across
Yes.
the ice, and it like
Yeah.
like what do you call it? The domino effect just like
Yeah.
takes out every single thing. It was just like, oh my
Yeah,
god,
it sort of hit
ridiculous.
the leg supports on the walkers and they sort of disassembled
Yeah,
like Legos, which, I thought was kind of cool.
yeah. This one was fun.
Yeah.
This one was fun, and the animation is back to where it should be, right? I
Yeah.
mean, this
I
one looks polished. It looks great.
Yeah. I actually kind of like this design. There's some subtle differences, like the eyes are all like very big and bright, as opposed to how even in some of the other Lego stuff we've been doing, they're not quite like that. They were like almost Disney kind of eyes, like real
Yeah.
big and expressive, bright blue.
Yes.
I did like that. I also noticed when they are in the navigation system, Endor is listed as one of the destinations on the map. So that was just kind of a cool
Oh,
little
no
Ewok
way.
thing. Because
I
I
didn't
think we
see
actually
that.
see the Ewoks on Tatooine. But watching this, my son was like, Endor, they're going to Endor.
Yep, yep.
That was cool.
Oh, man.
You know how I feel about Ewok content. I'm here
Oh,
for it all
oh,
the way.
it's the
They
game.
also, when they're trying to escape, they build the ship from A New Hope and fly out in that. What is
The
it?
Tantive 4. It might
Yeah,
be
the
the Tantive
Tantive 4. Yeah,
4.
you're right. You're right.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so they build the Tantive 4. So that was kind of cool. There was a lot of blink and you miss it references. I feel like I
Yeah,
would write something down and be like, wait, what was that? So it was really jam packed with Easter eggs, which I think was fun.
I think there were little Indiana Jones drops too. There was one in this
Oh, I think it was just Bombad Bounty that had one. That's the only one I remember.
when they were. Oh, that's it. When they were on the Tatooine and Grievous was buying R2-D2, the
Okay.
camera pans and you see like a pile of sand, and Indiana Jones like grabs the idol. He's like
I was
looking at the
writing
idol.
about the Ewoks. I missed it. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, and I saw that
All
and I was
right.
like, "Oh, no way, I saw that."
Oh, that's cool.
Because then it
Okay.
comes back up again in Bombad,
Yeah, it does. It
yeah, there
does.
was a little Indiana Jones little snippet in there, which
Yeah.
was
This
clever.
one was fun. I liked it. 5 minutes is
Yeah.
a good amount of time, and it was just pretty fun all around. Leia has a tiny little cameo in the amusement
Mhm.
park set up at the end. She's like at the ticket booth, which was fun.
Yeah, I mean, it looked great.
This one was a good time, and yeah, you're right. I mean, clearly tying into Clone Wars with the narration and even just the style and the characterizations of the different people, I think was really keyed into Clone Wars, which makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Well, I'm mad that I missed the Indiana Jones reference, but I definitely caught the one in Bombad Bounty, so let's do it.
Yes. All right. We blast right into the beginning of A New Hope. Lord Vader's Star Destroyer attacks the Rebel blockade runner. Vader infiltrates the ship, but slips on the newly mopped floor by Jar Jar Binks. In a cast in the infirmary, Vader employs Boba Fett to track down and bring Jar Jar to him. Jar Jar is down on the planet Tatooine. At the cantina, he briefly enjoys an ice cream before he's put to work vacuuming the whole cantina. Overpowered, he sucks up much of the furniture, band, instruments, patrons, and more. The vacuum begins to go out of control, leading him out of the cantina and right into the Millennium Falcon. The Falcon blasts off to Alderaan and is captured by the Death Star. Jar Jar wanders off again and begins to vacuum the Death Star when he inadvertently hits the self-destruct button. Somehow Jar Jar survived, as well as Boba, and crash lands on Hoth in the middle of the Echo Base battle. A Wampa tosses him so far, he crash lands in the desert on top of some Tusken Raiders. He threw him to a different planet, I guess.
He did, yeah.
He begins vacuuming again and is shot at by Boba from Jabba's sail barge. Boba jetpacks out to get him, but is swallowed by the Sarlacc. Back on Endor, the Ewoks celebrate. Yay. Jar Jar discovers his vacuum goes from suck to blow. Get that reference? Yeah.
Idea.
And he blasts out thousands of Lego pieces, which form a Jar Jar stage where the Cantina Band and nearly the entire cast of Star Wars begin playing reggae music. The performance is televised back in the infirmary where Vader and Boba fight for the remote. Roll credits. Oh, man.
This has its moments. I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like, oh, Jar Jar was all over the place, causing problems all the time.
Yeah.
The thing that I liked about it was, I guess I didn't see him sucking up the things throughout the thing. I never really thought that was going to come back. I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
So in the end, when he has like basically a party ready to go inside this vacuum, I thought, okay, that's kind of cool. Like I didn't see that coming, and it makes sense to the logic of this. So, I had to give it props for that.
That was the redeeming factor for it, for sure, was that. I was just like, oh, funny. The fact that it was like a big Jar Jar stage, though, I was like, all right, let's try to tone down the Jar Jar. They were really like forcing it.
It's heavy in the Jar Jar, it sure is.
Yeah.
During the band sequence, the Ewoks show up all playing ukuleles, which delighted me because I play the ukulele. I love the ukulele, and I love the Ewoks. And there they were, Ewoks playing ukulele. I never thought I'd see the day.
Oh my goodness!
I definitely screenshotted that, so that's gonna stay with me. I did for sure, when Vader's in the infirmary, that's when he's watching Raiders of the Lost Brick, and he's literally like, that is a scene directly from that short. So
yeah,
that was kind of cool.
So yeah, it was in both. Both. You have to go back and try to find that little.
Oh yeah,
he was for R2-D2.
Definitely.
You'll see it.
So you watched Raiders of the Lost Brick, right?
I did, yeah.
I know that's not what we're talking about, but I kind of felt like that was the strongest of all of them.
I think so, and you know what's funny? I did think that the weaker part of it was Crystal Skull, and they should have somehow incorporated Temple of Doom in there. I feel like they could have done it without it being weird.
Well, I mean, I guess you just, the big rolling ball and the idol is so iconic. I guess you just have to do it. But like,
iconic, yeah.
Even his list was like idol, Ark, Crystal Skull. So it, it just totally skips Raiders.
Yeah,
but I think it would have been easy enough. And
I was like, what? Like, stones?
Yeah, but I mean, they could have just had. I think if they would have just had Short Round at some point, like put them on an elephant. I don't know.
Yeah, or like guy coming in Kalima, and it's just like, oh, this guy again. Like just, kind of just pops in and out. Would have been funny.
I think so too. When they're running at some point, there's like a reflective surface, and it's Indiana Jones and Mutt running, but the reflection is Han Solo and Chewbacca. I thought that was funny. Yeah, I thought that was pretty fun. So I guess if you've watched along with these other three, I would say go check out Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Brick as well.
And the scene where Indy is chasing the Ark, the truck with the Ark in it.
Yeah.
When he kicks him out, the very last one is a stormtrooper.
Oh,
watch it again. Okay. I was like, whoa, he looks really white. And I went back and I was like, oh yeah. I screenshot. Well, I didn't screenshot it, but I paused it right on it, and I was like, that's a stormtrooper. Nice.
I feel like the humor was best in the Indiana Jones one, in a way that it didn't land in some of the others. But I feel like I should say one good thing about Revenge of the Brick, and that is I did like when we go to Kashyyyk and it's just like Yoda versus battle droids, and he just pulls out the lightsaber and is just like whipping through battle droids and flipping around and stuff. I was like, okay, that's kind of a fun little scene, just like Yoda and the Wookiees taking out battle droids. So I did like that. So that's a redeeming quality from Revenge of the Brick.
Yeah.
Overall, I think these make it interesting because they're released really over the span of 5 years, and you can see the improvements kind of in each one where they're finding their footing and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I got to give it to Quest for R2-D2 as the best, though.
I think so too, and I think that one they just do I think I like it. I think they don't incorporate all of the bad guys, and I feel like they should have.
Yeah,
especially that one part where you're like, oh, I guess that's the Emperor and Asajj.
Yeah, Ventress was there. Yeah, and Dooku.
It may have been Dooku. Yeah, I'm probably wrong about the Emperor, but like they're all there, but none of them got like a little grunty like line.
Yes,
It would
it's
have
true.
been nice to have just like had them there,
Yeah. I wonder if that one is the most cohesive because they also were building a video game based on that story. So you had to kind of have a sequential, like it needed to make sense for there to be levels. And so each layer, I just
Yeah.
wonder if that maybe made it a little bit more cohesive than some of the others.
Or each little snippet before it goes somewhere else could have been like a cutscene in a video
Yeah.
game. For real.
Yeah. That also, well, I guess that's sort of my Oak of Arc moment. So why don't we roll into it?
Okay.
So the quest for R2-D2 does also have my Oak of Arc moment, and that is the Star Wars theme park at the end. I mean, I know it's goofy, but like it just sort of breaks the illusion, I guess, or it just sort of feels like, what are we watching? I don't understand
Marketing.
anymore. Yeah,
Feels like marketing. Yeah.
it's like all eras of Star Wars and everything, and it's like both the characters being the characters and also going to a theme park about the characters. I just was like, this is stupid. I don't need this. Like, you could have just ended sooner.
No, I agree.
What about you?
My Oak of Arc was just the animation of Revenge of the Brick.
Yeah.
It's just, it's
Yeah.
like they wanted to do Legos, but not make them look like Legos. And it's weird that
Yeah.
Lego as a company wasn't like, no, our Legos don't look like that. So no, this is not going to work.
Yeah.
Right. So
it reminds me a lot. I guess hosted an episode of Previously on X-Men, I don't know, last year or something. And we did an X-Men short that was on Mini-Mates. Do you know what Mini-Mates are? Like those tiny little blocky, similar concept to this. And it kind of reminded me of that because it had a very like, this is like a junior in college computer final. You know what I mean? It's like, that's kind of what it feels. It feels like a student project.
Yeah.
With all the pros and cons that come with that. And you felt the growing pains quite a lot in the Revenge of the Brick, for sure.
Yes. It was hard to get over.
Ichiwawa moment?
Mine is just the Indiana Jones drops in Bombad and the R2 one. We're just fun.
That's pretty cool. That's cool because obviously the connections with Harrison Ford and everything, but then you also have the little Indiana Jones Star Wars nuggets that you see like in Raiders of the Lost Ark when you see R2 and C-3PO like in the hieroglyphics and things, and so there's already like a history of these two referencing each other.
Yeah. What was your Ichiwawa moment?
That's tough. And it's things I've already touched on, but it's kind of like a tie. Like I would say I was most excited personally to see the Ewoks pop up playing ukuleles. I just thought that felt so tailored to me. I was delighted by it. But I actually think I am going to give it to that scene in Revenge of the Brick when Yoda pulls out the lightsaber and starts taking out the battle droids. It just is an unusual scene, I'm
Scene we want.
Yeah,
from
exactly.
all the Vader books and everything when he talks about just like eviscerating entire jungles of species, and you're like, I mean, it makes sense for a Jedi to be able to do it too, to droids for crying out loud. Just break them all apart. It was perfect. It made sense.
Well, it's kind of like in the Clone Wars micro series where I think, was it Kit Fisto or was it Mace Windu? One of the two shows. Okay, and just like takes out. Yeah, it was kind of like that. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to give it to. I'm surprising myself with that choice, but it's the one that stuck with me the most. I made me want to be like, is there a book where Yoda's cool? Is there like a Yoda book with lightsabers? Maybe.
Well, isn't there one part where like he makes like the heads go on and like there's a head, but then the two arm sockets also heads, and they're like, and they're like all freaking out that like they're all just messed up. I mean, it was good. It was entertaining. That's a good
one. They're hard to rate. I mean, I guess let's just go boom, boom, boom. Give me your Revenge of the Brick.
I think that would be probably a 3, just because the animation brings it down so much. But the story was good. The story was fun.
It was.
What about you?
I agree with you. I think I would give it lower if not for the Yoda scene, but both the Yoda and the Wookiees, the whole Kashyyyk sequence, I really did enjoy. So, I'm happy with a 3 on that. Quest for R2-D2.
Clone Wars 1. Yeah. No, that's why I like that, because it was like the first snippet we get of like all the Clone Wars people with all the Galactic Empire people was kind of fun to see. As a kid, you wish for that kind of stuff, like it could work, like Picard and Kirk together, the Jets and Flintstone, where you're like, yes, they were in the same galaxy together. And I wonder if this was one of the first ones to do that too,
Yeah, could
Or
be.
maybe in the games they did that at that
Yeah,
point. I'm
I
not
don't
sure.
know.
But no, this one was fun. I did especially like that R2 just like went to the Oasis and was just like chilling out,
Just having a
and
good time.
everyone's
It was
freaking out.
just like the droid harem in the Great Keep. You
Oh my
know, that's
gosh, that's right.
probably
Yeah, the
he was
droid hair.
just like,
Oh my
yeah,
god.
finally, I'm back at the Great Heap. So good. Yeah, I agree. I would give this one a solid 4 stars. I think it was a good time. A little bit of a cheesy ending. I like that it was focused on R2-D2, and I think the quest for R2-D2 is a great Star Wars title. So I like
Yes.
that.
All right, Bombad Bounty. I think I'd give that one a 4. I enjoyed it. I like that it was all over the place. It was weird though when like he got thrown and it was just like he was on Hoth, but then just got thrown onto Tatooine, and
I
I was
know.
like, okay,
Yeah.
I guess I'm just gonna have to accept that.
Yeah.
But it was fun. That was a fun one, even though Jar Jar was in it. And I kind of at the end, I was like, huh, it wasn't terrible. It kind of worked.
Yeah.
But like you said, I thought it was really cool that he reversed the vacuum and
Yeah.
basically spit out everything. And you forgot. It's true. You
Yeah.
forgot that he had sucked everything up.
Yeah.
And that
So it was a good
really
layering. There was lots of good, like when he was in the cantina and stuff. You see Han and Greedo in the background. You don't actually see the shot, but you see Greedo getting
Yep.
carried out on a stretcher. There was like a little Darth Maul cameo in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess maybe I would say 3.75. I think the Quest for R2-D2 was better, so I got to skate back just a little bit. But
That's fair.
I think these were fun. I think these were more interesting to look at just to watch the progression of the development of Star Wars Lego.
Oh yeah.
You know?
They really bring in as many characters as possible.
Yeah.
Each of them, right? As
Yeah.
much as they possibly can. Like, oh, the Wampa, and then he throws them onto Tusken Raiders, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's one way to incorporate everyone. Okay,
Yeah.
like here we are, So
Yeah, it's a fun batch. I think we both learned a lot today about Star Wars Lego.
I think we did. I think we learned that it has come a long way, and
Yes,
it is very
yeah, that's
impressive
right.
now.
That's
They're doing
right.
a very good job.
To look at Rebuild the Galaxy and then look at Revenge of the Brick, you really can see how much things have changed. So, yes, now we have the full scope. I'm excited about next time, Steve. We've been talking about it for years at this point, but we're going to be sticking with the nostalgia, but we're going to be jumping to a new fandom to cover the first episode of the Karate Kid cartoon. We're going to be watching My Brother's Keeper. This is readily available on YouTube. I think there's a DVD floating around out there, but it is available on YouTube. Whoa. So we're going to watch this first episode, and I'm hoping to watch the new Karate Kid movie, so maybe we could talk a little bit about that as well.
I'm going to try to do that too, so yeah.
All right, so we're going to dip into Karate Kid, and then we'll be back for some more Star Wars Lego fun the following week. So it's a new endeavor here on This Endorian Life, and I'm excited about it.
Yep, I can't wait. It's a pivot, but it's not a huge pivot, so I'm excited.
Right, and we'll always have Star Wars to anchor us back every other week. And we would love to hear, if there's some forgotten 80s, 90s cartoon based on, a franchise that's long forgotten. We would love to hear and cover that. So you can find us across all the various social medias. We're on X and Facebook at This Endorian Life, and Threads and Instagram as Radio Meanwhile. So send us our way, and we'll see what we can unearth and discuss.
I can't wait. I'll see you then.
All right.
This Endorian Life was brought to you by the Radio Meanwhile Network. Be sure to check out some of the other shows on the network, like 9021 Here We Go, or previously on X-Men. Please rate, subscribe, and share the show wherever you get your podcasts.